Меня зовут Антон, и сегодня мы снимаем видео про Американскую армию. Это мой друг Mattew. Hi Mattew, and thank you for attending this interview. I think it's going to be very interesting for my subscribers, visitors of my website and my YouTube channel to know more about American Army. I know you do work, like you are in American Army right now, and I would say the first question would be is how I know you weren't born here, so you came here from Argentina, and I think the very first question is how was it possible? How could you attend American Army when you weren't born here? What was the process? What kind of obstacles?
Okay, basically, when I came here, I already had my permanent residence and my green card through my parents. My parents moved back to Argentina, and I decided to move here right out of high school. After I got my green card,
Yep.
and I came here to study, and then I joined the army. Decided to join the army. Maybe I was young and immature, and maybe when you're young, you have that romanticism, and also I was thankful for everything that America was giving me, and I wanted to be part of it. I just didn't want to be a lesser citizen. I wanted to be a full citizen. So I decided to join, and my parents weren't very happy. But back to your question, in order to join, you need to be a permanent resident at least. So it wasn't hard at all. I mean, it was at the time where the war in Iraq was ramping up. It was end of 2003 when I joined. So that's when, after the invasion in Iraq, they decided that they were not just gonna invade and get out. They were gonna stuck there because they had the new war with insurgency started.
Yep.
And they weren't ready for that, so they needed people. So basically, anybody was joining. I had friends that they weren't even permanent resident, and they did it anyways. And,
What kind of visas did they have? You said they weren't permanent residents.
Oh well, they just poorly lied to the recruiter, and the recruiter didn't ask too many questions anyways because they needed people, I guess. I don't know. That's more of my hypothesis, but I did have friends that they did it that way.
And did it work out for them? Like, did they receive some
Yeah,
documents
once they, because President Bush, he passed a law that whoever was in the army, doesn't matter if they were permanent residents or not, if they got into it, then he was offering expedite citizenship for those who were serving. Because they're serving their country, they're serving the country.
Of course,
So he expedited, and so a lot of people got in. Some of them got caught, but they weren't really punished because it was really something honorable for them to do. So.
Yep. So is it still existing? Like, can I still with visa attend American Army?
No, I mean legally you can't. You cannot. And I know now they're probably taking more measures because they're trying to downsize the army after having 2 wars going on in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now they got out of in 2010, 2011 they got out of Iraq, so they don't need that many people. So they're trying to downsize because it's very costly to have that many people in the payroll. So they are more careful about enlistments. So you can see whenever there's a war, they need people.
And they're hiring, right? So
they don't try to look too much into the paperwork, and they just.
So whenever, so I think it's just the advice for subscribers. If a new war will happen, so just try to attend American Army.
That's why I know it requires a personality to join the army. It's not like everybody wants to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure not many people want to join some just the Russian army. They probably don't like
Yeah, I think it's going to work out too. I think it's going to work out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, all I can tell you is not doing it, is not legal, but I know people have done it.
So it's, I mean,
but
some
it's just,
small chances.
It's not something
to
I
do
can tell you. Yes, you'll get it no matter what, because
Yeah.
it's not on the paper. It's not legal.
that. But it's possible.
It is possible, and it happened before.
Okay, and they're giving you not just green card. They're giving you
It's
citizenship.
citizen right away. Like for those, I knew a couple of friends that were, actually 2 friends that were in my platoon, that they were in that situation, and they gave them citizenship right away. Like in 6 months, just the process of getting the paperwork and everything, they got their citizenship.
Okay. What kind of benefits did you get and you have right now because of U.S. Army? What is given to you?
Other than the pay, I right now as a veteran, you get something around between $46,000 and $50,000 for education. So you can go to any school.
For free, I mean, like you have that
Yeah,
limit.
you got $50,000. Like you use it to pay tuition or whatever you do. If you already have a scholarship with the school, or they give you a grant with the school, or whatever, or you get a grant from the government, you still use that as your month. They pay you monthly paychecks.
$50,000 for 1 year or for the whole
it's like,
thing?
say you can use it in 5 years. Usually you deplete it.
So it's just a budget for your education.
You're talking
no matter how
about
many years you're
probably
going
like $2,500, $2,500 a month probably for 5 years or whatever, or 3,000 or whatever.
to. It's pretty good.
It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty, and I used it all. I thought it was a spider or something. You thought that because I was in the army, I wouldn't get scared. Things like that. I'm still human. Gotta stay alert. But yeah, those benefits were good, and also from being in now I'm in the reserves. And from being in the reserves, also you get tuition assistance to pay your fees at school. So you basically use that, and you use the GI Bill just for your monthly paycheck as your job or whatever. So you get double benefits if you're in the reserves. Also, you get
So do they pay you when you're in a reserve too?
Yeah, they pay you for that month. You go a week in a month, and they pay you for that weekend. So, say for me, I'm an officer, and I'm a captain, and they pay me like $600, almost $600. It depends. Sometimes we go 3 days, sometimes we go 2, but average $600 for that weekend.
For the weekend.
For the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it's 2 weekends a month. 2 weekends, 2 weeks a year that you have to go. So, but and if you get active, I got deployed being in the reserves. My second deployment, they called me and I had to go for a whole year, and that's full pay with full benefits, And then you get, as a veteran, for being there, for having been there, you get, medical insurance for life,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's, especially here in the U.S. with all the how the high cost of health insurance. That's pretty good.
Whereas $1,500 you pay just only for ambulance machine, right? If you call and ask.
The VA, the Veterans Affairs, they pay for it.
Yeah.
They pick up the tab for that.
So when you're in the reserve, do you still go every day, and work? I don't know, to do basic stuff.
No, just once a month for the weekend. Now, when you're an officer, you do more during the make phone calls because you're the one that's planning for that weekend. But if you're just a regular soldier, you just show up that weekend. That's all you got to do.
So basically, you can work somewhere else during the reserve time.
Yeah, you're a civilian.
And by going once a month during the weekend, you said, right? So you just get paid $600 for just 1 weekend.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's kind of just almost free money, right?
Yeah, it's just most of the time that weekend is like, actually for a lot of people it's fun because they get to see their friends, because they probably deployed before or they know each other for a long time, so you get to hang out with your friends, stay in a hotel, and go and train or whatever you got to do, and be with your friends one week in a month, you know. So it's a good deal. I think it's good, you know. You get to keep your uniform, and you don't have to deal with the daily crap of the army when you're active duty.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal. That's why I'm still doing it. Otherwise, I would have been out a long time ago.
Okay, so when you actually been physically in the army, right? When it was Iraq or other hot spots in the world, how much roughly would just a regular soldier be paid during his army time when he is in the army, and what is his paycheck monthly?
It depends on rank. If you just join, you're gonna be talking about. You gotta think that there's a lot of benefits to it when you're active duty. If you're married, they pay forever. They pay for your kids. They pay for your housing. They pay for a nice. So they pay you your paycheck. Say if you're married, for example.
What do you mean by housing? You mean
housing that you give you? They either give you like $1,500 just for you to it
pay out
depends
the
where you
wall?
live, because some places are more expensive than others.
Yeah.
But say here in Texas, where it's pretty cheap, they probably pay you $1,500 for you to pay for your own food and apartment,
At
other
least.
than your paycheck.
Oh.
So you combine it with your paycheck. So saying your paycheck is gonna be, if you just started, it went up. So now you're probably gonna pay you $1,700 plus
After
the
taxes or
housing.
before taxes?
Before taxes.
Before taxes.
But the housing that I just told you that's after taxes. That's not taxable.
So it's basically one and a half thousand plus.
yeah, you're talking
1,700.
about $3,000
$3,000.
or something like that, just to start off. Yeah. But if you live in the barracks, because when you're lower enlisted, you're in the lower ranks, they don't pay you the housing allowance, but you stay in the barracks and they pay for your food. You go to their army dining facilities, which are pretty good actually. Actually, when I was out, I would go inside the villages to eat there
Like in
because
a
it was so
restaurant.
good. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, you get ice cream, you get
Wow.
burger, you get pizza, you get whatever. I mean, especially, I used to say that, especially when I was in Iraq, I never ate so much. You got ice cream, pastries, you get to eat steaks. Since you're there, at least they try to make you feel better about yourself because you're
Yeah.
there for a whole year. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but let's say if how fast you grow in the army, like you said, the soldier is not getting so much, but let's say you're captain, right? So how much time did it take you to become a captain?
Well, basically, to be an officer, you could be. There's two sides in every army. It could be the Russian army, the German army, the whatever army. You have the officers, which they usually have a degree, and the enlisted that they're the lower ranks, and then the sergeants, which are like supervisors in a company, for example. And the officers are the managers. But the managers have a college degree, and the supervisors can never be an officer unless they get a college degree. So I started as a soldier, and then when I got my college degree, I became an officer, and I started as an officer. So the officers, they get better pay, they get a little bit more, or they get more power, more,
Yeah.
they command, or
You
or
can
they're
direct your
either they're
soldiers.
planning or they're commanding, So, but it's good either side. I mean, but the officers get paid more, but it's just I like the enlisted side too, because you just gotta be the one that is out there, and you don't have to think about planning and do the politics with other officers. You just go there and do your job.
So as a captain, you don't hold in your hands a weapon anymore, right? So you don't go in those, hot spots and.
No, you do.
You do?
Yeah, if you're actually, say, if you're a platoon leader, which you're like, let me give you a comparison. you guys probably watch Forrest Gump, right?
Yeah, I think everyone did.
Everybody
in Russia.
watched, yeah. So
Absolutely.
I picked the most common movie that probably everybody watched. You know, I don't know if you remember Lieutenant Dan, the
Yeah, who was his?
yeah, he got his
Legs,
legs cut off.
Yeah.
So he was the one that was there commanding a small platoon of people, but he was there in the front with them. And the thing is that when you're an officer and they see you and you're fighting in a different army, they see you with the officer rank and they're gonna aim first at you because you're the highest rank. If that guy goes, all the decision-making process of the platoon, nobody will. Yeah. So they always go for the highest rank. So, especially from lieutenant, you know, it's like second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and captain. Those are the officer ranks. You know, the first officer rank. Those are the ones that they're always in the field, always in combat.
So actually,
So that's a dangerous rank. That's a dangerous rank.
Okay.
Then when you become a major, like in Iraq, you're a major, you can stay kind of in the back. But you know, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and captain, you're there, and you're exposed. So it's a dangerous rank to be out there.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's why they pay more.
yeah, they pay more. But then you know when they go up in rank, you're lieutenant colonel. You get paid more, and you just sit in the back, you know, just planning. You know,
If you survived.
yeah,
Until that
if you survive the lieutenants and the captain ranks, you know. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not like Vietnam or World War II, you know. But
Yeah, thanks God.
yeah, thanks God it's not.
Thanks God. I think the very last, I think not pretty last question. Two more questions. The first question is it tough to be a soldier in U.S. Army? Like, did you feel really hard time in the beginning, in the middle, now? So how did it go? Like, how people are trained there? Is it really difficult or it's not so difficult? So
It's challenging. I mean, it's physically challenged, but you get used to it. Once you know you're trained, after the first month is horrible. It's just, you know, they tell you to do push-ups and you can't do it anymore, and they tell you keep doing it and keep doing it.
how many push-ups you did in the first month?
Well, right now, before you interview me, and I did 3 sets of 75.
Oh my God, push-ups, 75. Wow.
So I can do a little bit more, but I don't want to kill myself. But upper body and, you know, and I didn't do sit-ups, you know, upper body, lower body, and running, having stamina. That's very important for a soldier.
How much do you run there? If you
4 miles a day.
4 miles a
Yeah,
day?
I try to run 4 miles. There's once a day I run like 8 miles, but just once a week, sorry. So, but you gotta be in shape, you know, so because you don't want to be out there. I don't want to be out there again, and somebody shooting at you, and you're the one that is like, people have to drag you, you know, you get more people in danger. So, you know, I learned that to be a soldier, you gotta be physically, because some people say, well, I can shoot, well, but you have to run too. And you know, if you're a stationary target all the time because you can run or you can run fast, you know, they're gonna get you sooner or later, you know.
Yeah.
So this, you know, it's important to be in shape. And but you're asking me about training or being a soldier. Is that when you start being a soldier, you go from a civilian, you just enlist. That's the hard part. As you go from being this guy in front of a computer to all of a sudden, you know, somebody's getting in your face and talking about your mom, your sister, and you're like, what's going on? And at first you get mad, but if you get mad, it gets worse because they make you do more push-ups. And they make it. So it's getting to the point that they're trying to make you say, okay, this is just a guy talking to me. I know he's talking about my mom, but he's just, you know, he's just whatever.
I don't care.
He's not gonna get under my skin. You know, you gotta separate that.
Yeah.
So you're under stress, but you are able to handle the stress. So when you go to combat, you know, if you have to shoot, you're not thinking about other stuff. Like, or I might get shot, or what happened if the other guy has family, or what. You know what you gotta do, and you know it's the best for your guys. That you're protecting the guys around you, and so you're able to cope with many things. So that's the reason why you have to be obedient to yours. Because in the army, in any army, if you're in a combat situation and you have to tell somebody, do this, do that. There's no, your soldiers can be like, why? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you hesitate is the moment that the enemy is going to start. So in the army, we always say that it's always better a bad decision than no decision at all. Move, do something, get out of the way, move that way, made a bad decision, but standing there thinking about it, that's what gets people killed. So all the training is so you can become a soldier, not just a civilian. Because a civilian, you're at your job, and somebody tells you, hey, go there. And who are you? I know you're my boss, but who are you? You're not going to treat me like that. So it is, you becoming a soldier. Just the moment you become a soldier, those 4 months that you're there, those are tough. But once you're done, you already have the mindset. You know how the system works. So you learn how to play the system of being a soldier. But the good thing about it is that that makes you disciplined. So whenever you're there in the army for 3-4 years and you get out, but then that's good for your life because you're pretty okay. I gotta go to school. I gotta do this, and you accomplish goals. There's many people that before they were screw ups. They wouldn't do anything. They were like unemployed all the time, or they go to school and they drop out. After they go to the army, they go out and they go to school. They're like more goal oriented, and I seen a lot of people that they helped them a lot
to survive school.
Yeah, so it was good. I think military training is good. I mean, we were talking before about some people in Russia, they have to go, most people have to go. And so I think it's a good thing because, especially when you're young, you're 18, you don't know what to do. But that gives you, after that year, you become more disciplined. It helps. I'm not saying that everybody, some people are already disciplined. But those who aren't, it's going to help them out, that's for sure.
Yep.
So.
Do you guys have air conditions in Iraq?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, now we're out there and, fighting, but
I mean,
I tell you, inside the base, during the invasion they didn't have anything. They didn't have nothing. We were just moving all the time, constantly. But once we have bases and everything, the base is this nice. I mean, I had my own room with my room. It was my base was an old Iraqi army barrack. So we have our own rooms, we go use the internet, we go to the DFAC. We usually patrol for 2-3 hours and come back. Sometimes we stay there for a couple of days, come back. But when we came back, we do whatever we wanted to do, it was relaxed. Basically, if you're the one that was going out there and you were fighting, when you came back, nobody would mess with you. Like you were like the king, From the lowest guy to the other people that were behind the desk, they would work 12 hours a day. But we would work 2-3 hours a day, go patrol. So even though it's tough, they're trying to make you as painless as possible when you're there. Good food, good,
they do. Yeah. So I think you explained, I think, pretty much everything, which could be interesting to, my subscribers and visitors. I would like to ask the last question. What is your best advice for people who is willing now to join U.S. Army? Like, no matter what reason and how they are going to do it, but who is willing, who is thinking about that, who is going, what's your best advice to those guys?
I would say, have a plan. You know, the Army has a lot of benefits, but some people don't use them. If you're gonna join, make sure what you want to do, what specialty you want to do, because the recruiter will take you in different ways, and probably you say that, you know, I want to be I don't know, I want to be intelligence. Everybody wants to be intelligence, and the recruiter tells you, oh yeah, you'll be a great intelligence guy, and you think that you're gonna be dealing with super intelligence and, you know, like CIA stuff, and you get out there and all you're doing is writing maps. So basically, try to research the job that you're gonna get into. You know, if you're gonna be infantry or combat arms, you already know pretty much how it's gonna be. But if you're trying to go those trained jobs that you think they're gonna be cool, just make sure you research it very good and you ask people that are in the service already. That's one part. And the other part is make sure everybody's excited that they're gonna join. If you already made the decision that you're gonna join, everybody's excited and they forget about trying to fight for your benefits. Try to get as much, because there's other money that you can get. You can get loan repayment programs. Like say you had $20,000, you had your bachelor's, you know. Say a lot of people from Russia came here, started, they have like huge debt, you know. And they can probably join and then pay off all their debt. You had $20,000 in debt, they pay it off. The Army pays it off. So that's not one thing. So make sure you try to, you know, cool down and say, okay, I'm gonna fight for I'm gonna try to get them as much benefits as possible. And make sure that you also use it. Because I got a lot of many friends right now that they get out and they have that $50,000 sitting there, and they're looking for a job, and they're like, just go to school, and they pay you for it.
Yeah.
And when you're done, you get a job, you know? So make sure you use every single benefit. There's so many benefits out there, but people just don't use it. They're just sitting there. So and then they get a bad taste of the Army because they say there's no benefit. Well, you just didn't use them, you know? So yeah, that's my advice.
So the advice is just to use your brain, right?
Before use your brain. Don't just join, be either that young kid or they just like I was. I just got lucky. I just wanted to join. But then I saw those benefits, but I used every single benefit that they gave me, everything. And there's also bonuses, you know, when you join. Some jobs, they have bigger bonuses. Some, you know, when I joined, it depends on the moment. When I joined, infantry had like $20,000 bonuses. They give it to you. So, or right now there's probably almost no money for that, or 5,000 or whatever, because they don't need that many. Or they might need more intelligence, or they might need more chemical, or they might need more. So you gotta research, you know. But and that's the other thing. If you're gonna join, don't get too blinded or tunnel vision with the bonus, because then you're gonna have to do that for years, and you're gonna hate it. If you don't like it, you just did it because of the bonus. I decided to join doing what I wanted to do. You know?
So the second advice is to join when you're sure that you're gonna like your job, not just like benefits.
Yeah, because I tell you, those $20,000, they're gonna go like that, and they're gonna be like, why the hell did I do that? So,
yeah. Это был Matt, капитан Американской армии. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks for this great interview.